Hi, and welcome to the Why the Music Biz is Buzzing About the Metaverse, a featured panel at South by Southwest 2021. My name is Kathy Hackle. I am a futurist and the CEO of the Futures Intelligence Group, and I will be your moderator today. I am joined by some of the world's top music executives who are shaping the future of music, the music business today. So I'm joined by John V. John is the global head of music at Roblox, where he leads the company's partnerships with record labels, artists, management companies, publishers, brands, and music startups. We also have Ryan Rudin. Ryan is the Senior VP of Experiential Marketing and Business Development for Columbia Records, a division of Sony Entertainment, where he pursues strategic marketing and business partnerships with a focus on driving revenue and innovation in artist development. And we also have Zach Kardish. Zach is a music manager at Maverick Management who works with top artists like Lil Nas X, and his premier focus is to help artists develop and execute their creative visions through multiple projects, transitions, and media. So I'm really excited to have all these three visionaries with me today to be on this panel. So before we start, I want to kind of share a quick little story on why I think this panel is important. So as a futurist, I spend a considerable amount of time thinking about the future and looking at trends and signals in what I call futures intelligence. And during this pandemic, just like many of you, I've been spending a lot of time at home with my kids. And my kids have really become, in some ways, a window into the future. And on November 14th of last year, they actually got to experience something amazing. They got to experience a concert in Roblox, their favorite gaming platform. And the artist was Lil Nas X, which was one of their favorite artists. And it was a really interesting glimpse into the metaverse and into what's to come. And that's why I think this panel is very important, not just for people in the music industry, but for any company or brand that needs to be future focused and look toward what's coming. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead and start our amazing panel and start talking about the actual concert. So John, let's start with you from the Roblox perspective. Can you walk attendees through what took place?
Sure. Yeah. So great to be here with everyone. Excited for the panel. So the event, as you said, happened last year in November. The beginning of that process started more in the spring of last year. So as at Roblox, we wanted to introduce more music to the platform, which we hadn't done before. And it was also obviously the year of the pandemic. So we wanted to do something fun that was pushing the Roblox platform to new levels and showcasing great new sort of features that we have for the design and features for kids to connect in fun ways. So we were looking for an artist that would make sense to put on a virtual concert. Nas was already very high ranking in internal surveys. I had a feel that I think he would really connect with the audience. So we reached out to our friends at Sony and kind of started a dialogue about maybe putting on this virtual concert, which we had never done before. So it was a very exciting year as we were kind of flying the plane and trying to bring it in for landing on November 14th, where a lot of people enjoyed the show. So yeah, involved management, involved the label, involved a third-party team that I got together outside the company, internal teams at Roblox. It was a real kind of takes a village to bring it together. But the exciting part in the end, I think I have kids similar age to your kids, and for my kids and many other kids, your kids around the world, this was not only just a virtual concert, but this was their first concert ever, which is kind of fun to think about. So yeah, so I'm sure we'll get into it. So we were excited that it was received the way it was received, and we look forward to doing more of these in the future.
Yeah, and personally, my son was left speechless. And if you have kids, kids don't usually, usually have a lot to say. And he was just so impressed with everything. So it was quite amazing to experience it. Ryan and Zach, I kind of want to go to you now and, think about what sparked your interest. So when Roblox comes to you and approaches you and say, we want to put on a concert in the metaverse, this is our vision, this is what we want to do. What did you guys think? How did that go? So Ryan, let's start with you.
I mean, there's just so much opportunity within the Roblox space. I think it always starts with the artist creative vision. So I think we're always on the Columbia Records side thinking about how do we take an artist's creative vision and find new innovative platforms and opportunities to share that vision. And I think Zach will talk a little bit about this as well, of trying to do things first, because I think Nas always does a great job of that. But on the label side, we're always trying to find new and innovative ways to do things first for our artists, whether that's platform specific or a concert specific. But I think it always really is driven by the artist creative first. So when Roblox came to us, I think I was, I have a 7-year-old as well who plays, but I just was so amazed by the scale of their reach globally. So I think not only do on the Columbia Record side do we try to innovate, but we always are very thoughtful about how do we reach an audience globally. And I think very few platforms have achieved that better than Roblox. So it was a really exciting initial conversation when we wanted to marry audience size and audience development with really, really brilliant creative that Zach can talk about.
Yeah, I think to piggyback off of Ryan was just saying it's all about pushing the artist's vision and creative as forward thinking as possible. And getting to work with an artist like Lil Nas X allows you to really do that. When Roblox and Columbia came to management and to Nas, I think I was a little unfamiliar with the app, but the more that I talked to younger kids about it, they were like, of course, I play Roblox every day. And I started to really look at the social engagement and the activations that they're able to pull off online. And I think particularly, and especially that we're still in the middle of this pandemic, I think the big question was, we're sitting on some really great music. How do we allow Nas to be the first at something, get this music out in a way that's going to be impactful and really cut through the culture and cut through the noise with the thousands of songs that are released per week? And this was just a no-brainer, looking at the numbers, looking at the creative freedom he was going to have, and the team that Roblox had behind them to pull something like this off. This was something that, okay, this is how you release a song during a pandemic where you can't get out and promote it in the traditional ways that artists are used to.
That's awesome. And John, so we heard from Ryan and Zach, Roblox provided the platform, the framework, the technology to make this all happen. So how did you work with Ryan and Zach to pull this off?
So yeah, I think as anyone who's done new things in especially leveraging technology, which I've been stuck with through my career, there are plenty of opportunities for things not to work. And this was quite a complex project to bring to bear. So I think it's credit not only to Ryan and his team and Zach, but to Nas himself. How it was really a pleasurable experience where everyone was doing their piece and bringing creative ideas to bear. The guys can jump in, but I think it was a good team experience. It was a lot of work, but I think that was the magic that we hope would happen in terms of how Nas had approached other projects and music in general. He was a tastemaker. He wanted to do things first. He was kind of creative first and had this magical vision. So we hope that would all come to bear. But there were a bunch of things, I think, that when we started the project, we hadn't thought that we would do, that we ended up doing as we got closer, that it made it even more interesting and exciting, like collaborations with our influencers, which went really well. We engaged on TikTok, and that worked really well. We were trending on Twitter and YouTube. So I think it kind of crescendoed as that creative match between the parties really gelled, and everyone got more excited. And to Zach's point, I think as Nas got more and more into it, he really lent in and brought his magic to the table. So
yeah, and I think as a starting point, are things authentic to the platform, right? So I think that's always a really good starting point. And I think the music really fits with the audience. So there was a lot of due diligence by all the teams just to make sure that everything fit within the audience for the platform. And I think it really worked well.
And Ryan, to that point, did you, oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, I think just for the uninitiated, for people who don't have kids in the demo or haven't checked it out, I mean, Roblox is again described previously maybe as sort of this social gaming platform for kids. I think an updated description would be more this hyper social interactive entertainment platform for kids and teens. So the experiences, to Ryan's point, what the kids are doing on the platform already was hanging out in these very imaginative, beautiful, creative spaces, chatting with their friends, hanging out with their friends. So that sort of co-experience of hanging out together, music and concerts for us, Roblox was a natural extension of that. So we had a good sense that the kids would enjoy a concert type experience, and again, bringing people together around something exciting like a music concert felt authentic, to Ryan's point, for us as well.
Awesome. And Zach, from NASA's perspective, how much creative input did he have in the concert? What was the process for him?
Yeah, it was extremely collaborative from start to finish. I think from the minute that just a little bit of creative was shown to him, that opened up the door for him to really have a forward-thinking say on how he wanted this to look. And I think it was either John or Ryan that mentioned this before, but as he got more familiar with how this was going to look and how it was going to work, he really lent into it and got a lot more excited about it. And I remember he went to a studio at one point to do the motion capture, and that was the first time where he was able to really see a lot of different creative decks and mood boards that the Roblox team had been working on, that was kind of taking what he had mentioned during creative meetings and now bringing that to life, and showed him some of the animation and how it will work when he gets into the motion capture suit. And then he did it and was able to see that played back on the screen, and he really started to get it. And I think from there, his brain just probably exploded creatively, and everything that you see in this performance, from the buttons on his suit to the color of his hat to the merchandise that was rolled out to the animated buildings that are drawn, I mean, everything was him and his creative director Hodo Musa and the rest of the Roblox team working extremely collaborative to just make sure that this vision was elevated as much as possible.
Yeah.
Wow,
and I think the notion, I started in the music business in the 90s and kind of have come back around, and I've always maintained that the music industry is the most, obviously I'm biased, but the most creative group of people that you'll ever meet. And I think with DSPs at the moment, you obviously have a bio and you have a photo if you're an artist, and you have a play button to play your music, but there's not too many opportunities to really express your creativity. So I think to Zach's point, having this metaverse palette where really it's only limited by your imagination, we can generally build or make what you dream about come true. So, and Nas has obviously this incredibly Hodo creative mind and vision. So in Holiday, as that was released, you were literally running around the music video or running around sort of Nas's head and his imagination as a character and hanging out with your friends. And so that the opportunities we're excited about moving forward, we're just scratching the surface with, with the first show, but so much more to be done to harness that creativity and keep pushing the limits, which is, we think, great for fans and obviously great for artists as well, to have this new platform and palette to paint on.
And I love the idea of music, because music comes out on a Friday and it can change the world on a Wednesday. Like a few days later, it reaches so many people. So the metaverse and these types of opportunities help scale a sharing of music, and people engage in it quicker than anything else. So it really, I think, math and music are really languages globally that when you find the right platform to share the right creative and the right songs, like, things really connect in a meaningful way.
Awesome. And I think it'd be really good to show, we have a video behind the scenes of the concert. So if we could show that, that'd be great to kind of lead into the day of the concert.
What's up, Roblox? Lil Nas X here. Shout out to everyone who's tuning in right now from around the world. Hello, hola, bonjour, konnichiwa, and ni hao. Hey, this is Lil Nas X, and we're on set of my Roblox concert rehearsals. Yeah, let's go. This ain't no ordinary concert. I've got my whole face and body scan because I want to look good for my first appearance on Roblox.
I feel like anybody who does motion capture, this is going to be their favorite part of it, you know, just putting on the suit. I just did the choreo basically right there for the entire thing.
That's a wrap for day one. We're out of here.
All right, that was amazing. How exciting. So let's talk about the day of, when the concert actually happened. So John, for you at Roblox, how did it feel working at Roblox that day? Like, was there a mission control? What can you share with us?
Yes, I mean, maybe first talking about the shoot day, and then we can talk about the launch day. So just doing a live production during COVID had some challenges. So that was all exciting, but we were, Lars had done his rehearsals and we shot it in Hollywood. So I think then just going back to how much Lars was leading in, he was such a professional, from start to finish, from all the camera flashing when we had to take the body and face scans, to his attitude on the day with you saw the head mount and everything. So it was really, I think that there was a bunch of people in the room from management and label and our team. So the shoot was semi euphoric, at least from our side. It was just super fun seeing it all come together. And he was so professional and seemed to be having fun as well, even though it was please move this way and do this again. He was like really rolling with it and bringing all his energy to it. And then jumping forward, we then had to go back and add in a lot of those creative elements to kind of create the show that was debuted on the 14th of November. So in terms of show day vibe, I used to be a TV producer, and we would do like live interactive TV shows. And there was a control room, so it kind of brought back memories of that. We had mission control on our side, where we were monitoring, the platform and all the users, and we got 1 million coming in and 2 million coming in. It was like watching it in real time. And I think just starting to see the socials light up, and just, hearing anecdotally the kids who are enjoying it and running around, and the screenshots that are being posted to Twitter. It was fun. I mean, it was definitely a little nerve wracking for sure, right? Because it was the first time being done. But it was super fun. And then obviously afterwards, hearing stories like, your great post on LinkedIn with your kids, and it was just great, because it was a difficult year, I think 2020 for a lot of people, and I think just knowing that we could bring some fun and excitement and connect people around this great artist and great event, I think just felt good for us, at least on the Roblox side.
That's awesome. And I feel like it shouldn't be called mission control. It should be called mission to the metaverse. So, yeah, just food for thought there. So Ryan, from the record label side of things, what was the day like for you guys?
Yeah, so we're really lucky at Columbia. We have a lot of really strong cross-functional teams. So when we have a big activation like this, it's how do we activate across all the teams? So there's going to be content that lives on Roblox, but we had a really aggressive TikTok strategy. What is the press strategy? What is the YouTube strategy? What is the YouTube influencer marketing strategy? And then I think on top of that, we'll work really collaboratively with John and Zach on what is the digital merch strategy, and how do we create micro moments that are then shareable? Because I think even whether you're in the metaverse or at a live show, we try to be really thoughtful about before the show, right before the show, and after the show. So there's a whole experience that a fan has, whether they're experiencing their first event live digitally or they're experiencing in real life. And what is that life cycle for the fan? And how do you put the fan first? And what are those kind of content touch points along that journey? So we really had quite a large number of people internally trying to take Naz's creative that Zach and the team helped cultivate and really have it reach across a variety of platforms, it culminating too in the live full show on his YouTube channel as well.
Awesome, thank you. And Zach, we actually have 4 still images of the concert, and we'd love for you to kind of walk us through them. So if we can show the first picture, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So this was the first song that he rolled out with for the performance. It was his creative for Old Town Road featuring Billy Ray Cyrus, and I remember having to get super creative with the team and with Nas about how to integrate Billy into this, because obviously he was a massive part of this moment. So you could see Billy Ray kind of electronically in the background, and Nas is in his pink Versace look that he wore on the red carpet at the Grammys. That's the creative that he wanted. That's the styling that he wanted to go for this performance, and it's kind of Western themes, just like the song.
All
Next
right.
song he did was Rodeo, and a lot of these stills that you're seeing and you'll see are based off his music video creatives. And so if for this song, which was Rodeo, it's kind of his take on the world of vampire kind of creative, and you'll see in that music video that it's set at night, and it's very dark and vampire-esque, and I could be wrong. I think he might have mentioned that this was the coolest part for him just the way that this transitions at the end with the concrete of the floor breaking, but I know he was really excited about this one. Panini, his second single after Old Town Road. It was the third song of the Roblox performance, and again, very much based on the music video. His kind of take on this futuristic, somewhat robotic kind of world. In the music video, there were robotic dancers around him, and in a way, all the little Roblox avatars, the users who were playing with him live, kind of served as those robotic background dancers, and just his take on a futuristic kind of world that he was living in for this era. This last still, which was the last song that we did, it was his, I guess, live world premiere live show of his record, his new single Holiday. And Holiday is obviously very themed around the idea of what a holiday is, and especially what that means to Nas. And again, in the music video, it's kind of like you're in like his toy factory to an extent, and he wanted to kind of loosely walk along that line for this performance with Roblox, and just bring a lot of winter vibes and snow and just I think the avatars were able to throw snowballs at each other, and they were really able to engage with Nas in real time.
That's awesome, Zach. And from Nas's perspective, like, how did he experience the concert? And I'd love to know how you experienced it as well.
It's interesting. Show days are normally the most hectic. You know, you're getting to a venue, you're doing sound check, and probably some radio promo. This was a little different because we shot this ahead of time, and you know, he didn't have to be at a venue necessarily, and dealing with all that craziness. But I'd say that the day was still really crazy, but in a good way. He was ecstatic. He couldn't wait for it to premiere. I think there was a showing at 1 p.m. and then 6 p.m. and then the next day at 1 p.m. again. And I know that he watched all 3 run-throughs. He was in the game as an avatar, interacting with fans and commenting. He's very, very savvy with Twitter and Instagram, so he was simultaneously making sure that he was promoting promoting the stream and engaging with fans online. And for me, I was also kind of doing the same. I was watching from home from my computer, and it was the first time that I actually used Roblox and made an avatar. And I also watched all 3 or 4 of the performances because it was just so exciting.
But I think that's all really good. I think Zach highlights a really important point about community. So this idea that the metaverse offers an opportunity for people to get together and interact with an artist virtually. Like, I think community, that's what people are always seeking, whether they're seeking it at like a Coachella or they're seeking it at in a Roblox first concert activation. So I think Zach highlights like some really important points of like how people emotionally connect in these different venues, even if they're in the metaverse and in this virtual nature. but I think there's still this really deep human connection component. And when you have an artist interacting, who's in the chat, who's as an avatar interacting with users, it really amplifies the experience, I think, for the end user too.
Yeah, and I just to say real quick, I also think there's something really special about how inclusive this whole experience was. You know, when with a live show, it's specific to a market and a country, and maybe only a certain amount of tickets are available. Everybody was able to join this, and he was able to feel that, and I think the fans were able to feel that as well.
Yeah, no, I think building on that point, that the nice thing about the platform is, to Zach's point, you're not limited by geography, you're not limited by you can't afford the ticket. And remember, a lot of the kids on Roblox, there's a good chunk under 18, so a lot of these kids couldn't get into in some venues if they're over 18 or over 21. So this is something they couldn't do anyway, as they're smuggled in by a cool aunt or uncle. So the rubbing shoulders with your friends. So a lot of the kids would go in a posse. So they would go with 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends. And the nice thing compared to other platforms, you can see your friends hanging out, and you see, and the notion on Roblox of self-expression. Maybe a lot of people were wearing. I was one of the NARS avatars. I think I was the holiday avatar. So you can express yourself through the merchandise, which worked really well on the platform. And you can literally run around and be with your friends. So that notion of a live event, to Ryan's point, if you go to a show, you're generally not interacting with hundreds of people. You're interacting with your maybe 3 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends. So that experience we can bring to bear on Roblox. But at a live show, we're all somewhat connected to the business in different ways. So maybe we've done a meet and greet or a backstage or a photo op, but 99.9% of fans never have and probably never will. So we can deliver these tentpole moments where just even dancing on the stage with NARS was super exciting with your friends, and people are screenshotting those and posting them. So it's breaking down the barrier, democratizing it, having more of these tentpole moments where the kids can go, "Oh my God, I was on stage with NARS and it was so fun," and they talk about these moments, with their friends afterwards and kind of cherish them. So I think that's trying to make the real world not just the same in the virtual platform, but even better if we can.
And I think things will hybrid open up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just going to say, I think all these things then hybrid into each other over time when live also continues to open up, where I'm really bullish on this idea that we're going to start allow fans behind the scenes, behind backstage at live concerts, but virtually, right? So how are we taking some of this experience that's online and bringing it into the live sphere as well? And I think there's going to be a lot of interesting hybrid models that come over the next 12 to 18 months as well. So as the metaverse is coming up, they're juxtaposing that against live experience as well. I think it is really interesting.
Yeah, and I think what we'd love to get going on the platform and experiment with is, so if you think about a tour cycle, so generally tickets go on sale maybe 3 months prior to the tour, maybe longer. The super fans are buying. You have to reach them one by one across social platforms, grab them on Instagram, grab them on Twitter, wherever you can. And the super fans are buying one ticket, and then maybe a month out, they're convincing 3, 4, or 5 friends maybe to go with them. A week out from the show, they start to go shopping and get excited, and then they go to the show, and they have 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of fun and excitement, and then they go back and finish, and it's a sugar crash, right? And you kind of lost them. So with a virtual overlay, as soon as you could do an event to kind of launch the ticket sales, so you do a little concert, tickets go on sales, you're aggregating millions of people in one spot, which is hard to do. And then the pre-show, to Ryan's point, you can have a bunch of pre-show excitements. You can have the artists come in, do mini shows, AMAs, like you meet all the other fans, get merch, build the excitement. And then if you're at the real show, maybe you can unlock certain virtual items by being at the show, and then after the show, you unlock the virtual after party. So kind of the party continues online, and you keep, as an artist and a label and management, you keep that relationship with your fans throughout. And if it's a tour, as opposed to only caring about your one show in New York at Madison Square Garden, you then actually care about the next show, because maybe you're going into an ongoing NARS world, where you see, the show in LA, and then you see the show in London, and you can kind of keep the community going through a year tour, an 18-month tour, which is pretty exciting.
That's awesome. So, and John, to that point, I'd love to talk a little bit about the after effects, like what came at the concert happened, it was a great success, but what was the user feedback on Roblox? Did this have any impact on merch sales? And I guess we'll talk to Zach about music sales as well, and Ryan, but what was the user feedback on Roblox?
Yeah, I think we wanted to do it again as a showcase. As you saw, the experience was quite high fidelity. So this is all now technology that's available to our development community, which is the lifeblood of the platform. So we want it to be an inspiring moment and event for the community. So we're already seeing developers now interested in using that technology to create kind of richer experiences. There's definitely been an increase in creating more music experiences, both from our developer community and the music community, artist community, management community. And I think the presenting Roblox is, again, not just a place for quote unquote games, but also a place for entertainment is definitely penetrated the community and the press we've had afterwards. That message of Roblox having a broader use case, is now presenting more opportunities to do more creative things. So everyone, I think, enjoyed it. It was a positive experience. Like your experience, people had that. This was the first time, my kids experienced a concert. This was, imagine the possibilities from the commercial side. The merch was really, really quite successful and continues to be. So from an economic perspective, from the audience, to Ryan's point, that we were able to engage with the NARS, from our developer community, from the fans of Roblox, and from the broader music industry, it was all a positive, I think, from our side.
Awesome. Zach, do you want to maybe address, you were launching a new song in the metaverse. Like, what were the after effects of that?
Yeah, it's really interesting because when, generally music comes out on Fridays and you sort of have a few different benchmarks in the short term. It's that first day, it's that Friday, and you're kind of looking to see how quickly the number is jumping by 100,000 or 200,000, or by millions of streams per hour. I think the next one is usually around Tuesday when the end of the weekend into Monday numbers come in, and then obviously at the Thursday night, Friday morning, when you have like those first week numbers to really kind of see where do you go from there based on the success of the record. This one was really interesting because it's not often where you have such a massive impact on a Saturday or on the middle of the weekend. And that was really cool for us to see because the song did incredibly well out of the gate on that Friday. But once the performance impacted on Saturday, I think by Sunday and Monday, we were just off to the races, and it put the song on a track to become the hit that it is. And it's gold now, and it's on its way to being a platinum single. And there was such fuel to the fire added. And I think there's a lot of intangible things that you can't necessarily get specifically out of data. But when you look at Nas's brand and you see how impactful he is with young kids and how friendly his brand is, he has a very, very artist friendly brand, kid friendly brand. Sorry. This experience, we knew that there was going to be a payoff. We just couldn't really put our finger on it until it unfolded. And to see 10, 15 minutes, a minute after the performance aired, people going on Twitter and calling him the Roblox guy, and seeing the way that he leaned into that for his Twitter and his Instagram, we knew that he had just discovered a new medium in his creative life that honestly set an extremely high bar for the rest of us to continue to launch music.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you want to share anything, or John?
No, I defer to Ryan. We'd love to hear from him.
No, I think people like Nas X and superstar artists on the label have a pretty big marketing mix when they're launching a record. So they've got their video, other pretty large scale activations, but it's just undeniable when you've got 30 million kids globally tuning in to hear something and hear a premiere first. You can really understand that it's exposing the record in a really new and innovative way. So they really supported it. But I think, again, like, it has to come back to the creative being right, the video content being right, all of those things, the audience being right, all of those pieces have to fit first. And then Roblox has this audience and this community that can help, certainly amplify a song.
Yeah. I think to Zach's point, it puts a lot of pressure as we're thinking about future shows, because it all came together nicely. We've now got to, in theory, keep the same level or increase as we go ahead. But I think another point to mention, which Brian was touching on, is this is a new medium for artists to have in their creative toolbox. So when we did the kind of 101 intro for Nas to Roblox, we kind of got him dressed up. We put some Robux in his account and kind of showed him around and how to navigate the platform. And he was so good anyway. We knew he was a digital native and came up through kind of the meme generation, and we knew it would probably be familiar. But once he took to it, he's now got hundreds of thousands of followers on the platform. So I think it's exciting. We all remember like the earlier days of Twitter when first celebrities are reaching I've got 1 million followers on Twitter or whatever. As we're a new platform for engagement, you'll see, I think, more artists this year like Nas, following Nas as the first, coming onto the platform, learning about how the platform works, learning about how to engage authentically with their fans, current fans and new fans on the platform. So I think it's really just the beginning of this whole new way to engage with fans in a more visual and hopefully entertaining and exciting way.
Yeah, that's great, and I think it's worth definitely talking a little bit about how the pandemic impacted the music industry. What was 2020 like for the artists? And thinking a little bit post pandemic, are virtual concerts here to stay? So anyone that wants to answer that.
I think they're certainly here to stay. I think live, you can't hold people back from live. And I think there's a lot of pent up demand for people to get together once everything is organized. And I think there's incredibly smart executives that work in the live sector. But I think there's no way that virtual concerts don't do anything but grow. But I think the bar will be continually elevated. I think everybody's competing for attention at a pretty high level. So I think it's really up to us collaboratively to find really strong creative that adds value to, subcultures and online communities to really grow. But I really envision long-term, like, this hybrid model. But I think online concerts and live streams in the metaverse it's going to scale so much. I think what we did in a year would have taken 5 or 7 years. So, with everybody being home, everything, a lot of the technology is being collapsed in a way. And I don't think anybody appreciates how many changes we've made to our lives that will then stick with us over time, over the next few years, right? Like, I think and not all of them negative. I think just how we purchase, how we interact with content, all of those things they're not going to go away when we can open up a little more. They're going to really be ingrained in our culture and our lives in a good way, in a meaningful way. So I think concerts like this will continue to thrive, but I think the creative is going to have to continue to be elevated at each kind of benchmark as we go.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier that, I think as we move forward in this new medium, the word that comes to mind for me is accessibility. And I don't think people are going to stop going to see live shows. I don't think there will ever be anything that can replace the feeling of that or the desire for that. But like Ryan said, I do think as this technology starts to scale and it becomes more accessible for millions of kids, to John's point before, who are maybe not over 18 or over 21, who can't go to see a show, as this becomes more accessible and can get this into the homes of people, there's technology now that, they're putting a hologram in a filter on a social media platform and putting that filter in your room, and you can have a conversation with that person. And so why wouldn't artists be moving towards that and integrating their music into that? And as this scales, I think there will be a lot of exciting ways, especially for Roblox, to take advantage of technology like this. And like Ryan said, the bar is definitely set really high. But if it's a creative like what Nas was able to do with Roblox, there will always be demand.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that, and I think the exciting thing is for the kids and for music fans is hopefully like that again. DSPs are fantastic, but to really connect fans with music in a visceral way, and to increase discovery opportunities of music, now and even travel, right? So if I love the Wembley Stadium and I'm in America, maybe I'm never going to get to go and see a show at Wembley Stadium, but I could travel there on Roblox and there could be the virtual Wembley Stadium and I could see shows
Yeah.
or a little jazz club in Japan. So I think right now we're in kind of 1950s television programming, right, where there's one and then there's another and everyone's gathering around the TV set, or in this case the computer screens and phones. But we definitely see, hopefully in the next 18 months, 2 years, as soon as we can get it going, it becomes more of the Netflix era of all these music experiences on the metaverse, where every day you can come in and travel the world from a small independent venue that maybe exists in the real world, another venue that doesn't exist in the real world. You can be hanging out one-on-one, chatting to your favorite artists. You can do meet and greets. You can meet, and for me, the community aspect is such a great way to express yourself and your fandom and meet people who are into what you're into. So I think as the platform goes from maybe text in the future to voice and other ways to connect, all the fans, if I'm a fan of Nas and I can suddenly meet fans in other territories or with other languages and just hang out, I kind of find my crew. I do think it's great. It's going to be great for fans of music, great for artists as they can just get more connected to their fans and hopefully get the world more engaged and excited about all kinds of music on a daily basis.
That's great. And before we wrap up, I do want to get the perspective from each one of you on the metaverse, and how having this experience in the metaverse has changed your point of view or where things are going with your specific areas in the industry. So maybe John, from the gaming perspective, would love to hear from you first.
Yeah, and again, I think we're lumped into being in the gaming industry. I think we're really, again, this broad, hyper-social, interactive entertainment platform that encompasses social. There's some gaming, there's community. So we're excited. I think the experiences that have been built by all our amazing developers around the world up to now over the last 14, 15 years are great. And if we can now incorporate all the amazing musicians and artists around the world, anywhere from 3 million to 1 million of them around the world, and bring their creativity to Roblox and help them express themselves in exciting ways to reach their fan bases over the coming years, and maybe marrying again the artists with all of our developers. So you have like the creative developers on Roblox connecting with artists to create again just a huge volume and choice of things for the community to check out. So we think it's just the beginning. We've got a lot of excitement, and we just now need to build kind of tools and experiences to make it easier for the music industry and for artists to set up in the same way they set up on Instagram or TikTok. They can quickly set their experience home on Roblox and start creating and expressing themselves and connecting with their fan base, whether it's 100 fans or 100 million fans. That's what we're driving towards.
That's amazing. And Zach, from the artist perspective and artist management perspective, what are your thoughts?
I think it's just a really exciting time. I kind of talked about it before, but there's a lot of noise in the music industry. There's so much music released on a weekly basis, and it's very difficult to cut through and to be an artist who stands for something. And I think as we move towards a more metaverse friendly environment, there's artists like Nas who are first movers who will just be really excited to continue to push the boundaries of what's possible to make his music even more accessible than it already is to bring fans across the world together to one spot, without having to have those fans travel, like John was talking about earlier before. And I think from a management perspective, you know, we work as managers, we work so closely with Ryan and his team. And Ryan talked earlier before about the cross functioning dozens of teams that exist at Columbia, and it's incredibly rewarding to be able to tap into that on a daily basis. And I think it kind of, I wouldn't call it a pressure, but it definitely, like we talked about earlier, raises the bar a bit in opportunities that we're going to bring our artists and help them. It's their job to make the music. The more creatively involved they want to be, that's on them. And Nas is someone who wants to be creatively involved from start to finish, music across his marketing, everything that he does. And it's probably oversimplifying it, but it's just an exciting time for artists of that level who will take advantage in the best ways.
That's great, and a lot of work for you, definitely. Ryan, from the record label perspective, like, what are your thoughts, and what's coming down the line for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach said it really well, but I think what I'm so excited to see what's coming up in the metaverse. And I think we on the label side always start with the music and always put the artist first. And I think if you get those things right, there's a ton of opportunities. But I think Zach touched on this, that Nas does really well. I think on the Columbia record side, like, how do we innovate and be, we were the first live concert in Fortnite, the first, Avatar concert with John, the first label to, book music for TwitchCon. I think trying to go first on the label side is a priority, but I think John and his team did an incredible job driving an authentic audience that really perfectly married against the creative. And I think for me, I'm most excited about what's to come, not only on that platform, but all platforms, for artists to find new opportunities to reach larger audiences at scale, and create senses of community and intimacy basically from your home. It's really going to be an interesting next 24 months.
Yeah. And Kathy, if I may, I think building on Ryan's point, that once artists, so with the pandemic, live streaming, artists being comfortable going on live streams in the beginning, and now most artists are comfortable turning on a video and doing a performance or reaching their fans through video. So what we see is the next phase. Nas now has virtual Nas. He has his avatar. He has multiple avatars. That is the virtual representation of himself. So it gets exciting when we move from a kind of a pre-recorded to a live notion, where he now has his avatar. He could hop on and be live potentially from his home. As these kits become more accessible and not so scary, right? Because now he's in a suit and he's going, oh, it's kind of sensors strapped to me. I can do it in any clothing. And more artists have that, and they can kind of hop online and be connected to their fan base on a Friday evening when they feel they want to share something. And then fans around the world can get that feeling of intimately connecting with their stars. And this happens across multiple artists. And that I think then it gets really exciting, where they can not have friction in the middle. But if Nas is inspired, he jumps in his suit and hops online and runs around and talks to his fan, does a little show. Then I think it really kicks into overdrive.
I think that's a really good point, though, too, John, because as an extension of that, then you have fans that have their own avatar and their own identity and their own creative that they kind of build themselves as part of that ecosystem. So I think John's really right about that.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time. Any parting words before we wrap up the panel?
I think always with parting words. I mean, I think thank you, Kathy, to you, and you're definitely a thought leader in the space. So I would encourage everyone who hasn't, because hearing us chat about it, who hasn't checked out any of the metaverses or Roblox, to either grab the nearest teenager or someone in demo and get them to show you around to experience it firsthand, because I think that's a huge step between hearing about it and then playing around and seeing it. And we're just really excited for everyone in the music industry to bring, we're a small but growing team at Roblox. So we just love to hear all the creative ideas from the industry, and please, reach out. It was great working with Ryan and Zach. And we definitely grew and learned a bunch. So we just want to keep learning and experiencing or experimenting with this new medium to keep the fans happy and the artists able to express themselves as they have been for years more creatively in this new medium.
And I think my closing words are more directed to if there are any artists listening or creators listening, that there is no barrier to entry to go from creating on TikTok or creating on Roblox, creating music, to then coming to Columbia Records. So I would encourage you to go create audience through these different platforms, and you can really share and kind of continue to grow from there. So I would just really encourage everybody to put content out, get creative, and Nas is a great example of anything's really achievable when you have a clear vision on your music and creative.
Yeah,
Zach, you get the last word.
Ryan, you I won't say it better than you, but for those creators and artists out there, or whatever it is that you're passionate about, the resources are right in front of you, just with your phone. And there's so much that you could be doing, and content is key, and you never know like how one thing will lead to another, and just watch the space closely and enjoy it, because it's a really exciting time for not just music artists, but actors and actresses, to videographers and photographers and screenwriters. Like anyone who's creative will find ways to have a lot of fun in this world.
That's awesome. And I want to thank the three of you for being panelists in this amazing talk, and for really giving us a glimpse, working on creating a glimpse of the metaverse. It has been truly fantastic. I also want to thank everyone that's tuned in to see this session, and I think we will see all of you in the metaverse.
Cool. Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.